Hi, everyone. It's about 6:30, and this is your closing comment, video number 276. And as I always remind you, if you like my work, please subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything. The market had a very strange day today. The first thing, though, that I want to mention is the gold. The gold was higher, and then when the Fed announcement came out, it started lower, and the GLD traded down to about 160 and change, and then it started to trade up. But I didn't get in it because if you look at today's range line, it showed it trading up to 1749, but closing and settling at 1720, which was the low of the day. I don't know why that happened, but clearly I was not going to be buying something that tried the same area that we bought it in the last time, only to have it collapse, try that area again, and then come all the way down to the low. So I missed that trade, I'm sorry to say, but I just couldn't do it based on that. The market did close down 282, or about 1%. It was actually down in that area. And excuse me, when the Fed news came out, no action, no surprises, expectations of down 6.5% GDP this year and up 5% next year. Um, and no problems with raising rates through 2022. It started up. It actually got positive on the day by about 160, and that lasted for about 20 minutes. And it came all the way back down and closed on the low. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, closed over 10,000 for the first time, made a new all-time high. The S&P was down 17, or about 0.5%. The Russell was the big loser, down just under 40, 39.66, or 2.63%. And of course, right behind that was the transportation index, down 246, or 2.5%. So that was pretty close. We started the day off with Simon Properties saying that they were canceling their deal for Taubman. If you recall, this was pretty exciting when they first announced it, and it looked like Taubman would be worth about $52 a share. And they also paid a big dividend, and Simon was the class in the group. Um, as soon as this news came out, Taubman, symbol is TCO, traded all the way down to 26.70, which was down about $20, although it did rally and finished at 36.17, down 908, or roughly 20%. This is, from the looks of it and from all of the press coverage, going to be a very ugly breakup. Simon seems to think it has no issue, things had changed. Taubman, of course, is suing, and so we'll see how that turns out. Simon Properties, which, by the way, was about $170 stock not long ago, got down to $78, and it finished at 83, down 346, or only 4%. Boeing had news that it was looking at a schedule that by the end of the month, they would have their recertification flight set up. That would entail an FAA pilot and a Boeing Copilot. Didn't seem to help the stock, which finished down about 13. It had traded actually a little lower, got down to 197 before bouncing back. B of A had a bunch of sell recommendations on JetBlue, which finished down $1.58 or 11%, and on UAL, which finished down 492 or roughly the same, 11%. The cruise lines weren't mentioned in those notes, but they too came down hard. Norwegian closed 2065 down 348 or 14%, followed by Carnival, which closed 2059 down 245, only 11%. And the big winner on the day was only down 9%. That was Royal Carib 6359 down 632 or 9%. The market internals were weak today again. Volume was about average, and the advanced decline on the New York was down 2.5 to 1. Over on the NASDAQ, which is where the stars were, it was only down 1.8 to 1. Info technology, or the FANG stocks, were the strength. Energy, finance, industrials, and real estate were all lower. But there were all new all-time highs. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla at over 1,000, closed 1,025, and NVIDIA. So all of those were higher and making new highs. The oil finished up 66 cents, but tonight it's down about 60 cents. And Bitcoin got all the way back up. I've been mentioning this every night, that Bitcoin has been clawing its way back above 10,000 almost every day. Today the range was 97.20 to 10,130, and it finished 99.35, which was up slightly on the day, 130. And the chart that I want to show you is the one that I have shown you every single night, and will continue to show you as long as it keeps falling. This is the US dollar. There is no way to look at an economy in a more honest way than by its currency. And ours, while not calling it a collapse, is now down 11 of the last 13 days and has come from par or 100. Today, it not only broke 96, but it closed below 96 at 95.95 after trading as low as 95.61. So this has been a particularly ugly chart. NKLA, NKLA, another one of the hot names recently. This is the hydrogen fuel cell company that says it wants to be the leader in electric and fuel cell vehicles, trucks in particular, heavy trucks. And they evidently had a Deutsche Bank conference that was done virtually, talking to customers and investors. And it turns out that they have a contract with Anheuser-Busch, or Bud, which is Anheuser-Busch InBev. And what they're talking about is using these trucks between two specific California cities, they didn't say which, that would have a hydrogen filling station, for lack of a better way of putting it, one at each end of the route. This is a company that has gone from 13 a month ago to 94 yesterday, closed around 66 today, down about 15. This is a company that does not have a product. They have a prototype. They've had no sales except this possible deal with Bud, and they were merged into a shell. Their whole thing is, their business plan is to be able to sell the truck and the fuel and build the fuel cells and sell everything all at once, including the maintenance and the fuel. And it's kind of a novel way to have a business plan. They say that they will be uh, EBITDA profitable in 2023. I don't know how that happens at this point, but their main kick is that it takes about $2 to fuel the same amount in hydrogen fuel cells as it does to have a gallon of diesel. The issue is that a, the fuel cell will produce the same amount of power as the diesel and will only weigh 1 kilo, 2.2 pounds, whereas the same amount of diesel will be 3 kilos. Now, that's a pretty big cost savings, but it still stands to be seen if they can produce it and sell it. And just one name that is kind of a joke, heard about it first thing this morning. A Chinese company called Fang DD, FANGDD. And evidently it is a Chinese real estate firm. And I guess there were some people on the internet who were talking about it as if it were one of the FANG stocks or a group like an ETF of the FANG stocks. And yesterday, it moved from literally 10 to 129. Finished the day at 47, which was still up several 100%, but today finished at 1582, down 31, or just 66%. Have a good evening, everyone. I'll be back in the morning.